On today's show, we discuss the difference between building an artist and building a business, and how to find your niche and scratch it. On today's show, we break down how to build a time freedom and financial freedom creating business, as opposed to building a time-sucking and soul-sucking perpetual busyness machine. Ladies and gentlemen, this show might have the opportunity to set you free and to create both time freedom and financial freedom for both you and your family.
Let's go, let's go! Whoa! Let's go, let's go! Whoa!
You have questions? America's #1 business coach has answers. It's your Broda from Minnesota. Here's another edition of Ask Clay Anything on the Thrive Time Business Coach radio show.
Yes. Andrew, I am fired up to be with you on today's edition of the Thrive Time Show.
Oh, man.
How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. Having a great day.
Is it possible that you could read the question from today's guest with the subtlety that only a microphone can provide? The subtlety of only a megaphone into a microphone. Let's do this. I want it to be a subtle thing.
Subtle.
That way, when you're reading the question, it feels like you're right in the room with somebody. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you're in a business meeting and you ask a question, and a lot of bosses will pull out the megaphone and talk directly, to you. That seems natural. It's natural in our office. Does that happen in most offices? You think?
It does. It has happened before. I don't know about most offices.
So and again, you got to step further away from the mic to do it.
Check.
Okay, so see if you can do it. Okay, here we go. Give it a whirl.
All right, so I want to ask you something. I'm opening my website and LLC, so thinking about my name for the DJ agency. When we spoke on the phone, you said you don't recommend it, but I want to open an agency that would book female artists to events or female DJs with singers, musicians, MC, all female. The name I'm thinking...
And don't read the name. Don't read the name. Okay.
The name I'm thinking is...
Boop.
And I know you said it's limiting, but it's also special and would be easy to promote.
By the way, Andrew, you've always been both limiting and special to me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
I know what it means.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you what it means. I just know what it
Well,
means.
I know what it means. There's only so much of you. So you're limiting. You're limited, and you're special.
It's not what I thought, but
Okay. Continue.
Next question?
Yeah.
All right.
One more thing. Do you think I can have this business without DJing every night? Because I don't want to DJ every night for the rest of my life, although I do love DJing.
All right, so we've got Kendall on the show today. He's a videographer here. We've got Andrew here. You were a wedding photographer back in the day.
True.
Both of you guys have worked with me in a wedding business back in the day. So let's talk about this for a second. Andrew, why do you feel like? Because you've done, how many weddings have you taken photos at? 100 of them? 150?
I would say at least 100. I don't know the exact number.
Oh, okay.
It's over 100.
Kendall, how many weddings did you take photos or videos of?
I'm sitting around 250.
Okay, and I would say I went about 1,000. I kept track, and once I got to 1,000, I was kind of like, I got to get out of here. But I did about 1,000 of them, and so let's speak to the first thing. You want to build a business where you don't have to DJ every night. I really, really liked DJing, but the toll it took on my family wasn't good. So I'm naturally a person that, I would finish DJing at 2 in the morning, and then I didn't mind that I wasn't ever at holidays, weddings, birthdays, events, because I'm naturally a person who doesn't like to go to birthdays, bat mitzvahs, holidays, weddings. I don't like going. So as a general rule, it didn't bother me at all. I like throwing big events where they're really organized and they're fun. I like to go to some things, but as a general rule, so let's start right there. Why do you feel like, Andrew, why do you feel like I had to personally DJ many of the events that I did? If I wanted the deal, why did I personally have to DJ some of those events?
There's probably some that were either big deals that you had to make sure and ensure that they would go perfectly. Otherwise,
Dr. Zellner's daughter's wedding, Bridget.
Right.
Why do you think I had to DJ that one?
Because you could not leave it up to chance that somebody might screw it up. You knew you could do it right, so you were going to do it.
And there's a bigger problem. What's the bigger problem? Bigger problem.
It's a big relationship you want to keep solid.
It's a what?
It's a relationship that you want to uphold.
And?
That's a good question.
It's because I am a person who, I'm a person when I personally go out there and DJ a show, my particular shows are really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
They're great.
I was as good as a DJ as Charles Cola is as a personal trainer right there. So when I would DJ, Charles, I want to grab you. You can't just come in and grab a book. I have to get you on the mic for me. You can't just come in and grab a book here. Charles has been trying to find that binder, and we have found the binder. The binder has been located.
Oh, yes.
You doing good, my friend?
I'm doing awesome.
Yeah, Charles Cola, you were a personal trainer at one point.
Yes, sir.
And we have a thriver out there in Los Angeles. I won't keep you too long. But she's based in Los Angeles, and she's a disc jockey, and she's good. She's good.
Killing it.
A great disc jockey. Now, I would like for you to talk about this. As a personal trainer, how good were you?
I basically built a multi-million-dollar business off of that platform. So
what time did you start training clients every day?
I started 4 o'clock was my earliest client. I didn't do that for very long, but I did start at 4 in the morning. My first client till a 10 o'clock appointment was in at 11. But I would take as many as I could because that's how bad I liked winning and making money and being successful.
Did people want you personally to train them, just you?
Yes, and I would oversell myself, so I kind of bind myself up on that. Right.
So this particular listener, I'm just going to show you a quick photo so you can see this, Charles. You can get kind of a look at this. This listener right here, if you look on my screen real quick, you can see this. Do you see it over here? This is a person who's asking the question, and she is like a celebrity DJ. Big, huge events hire her because she's a celebrity DJ.
Oh, yeah.
She's great at her job. Kendall, have you as a photographer been asked personally, will you personally do the photos for this event? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, multiple times.
Why?
Because they liked my work and they knew that I was reliable.
Andrew, have you ever been asked by somebody to, hey, I specifically want, I'm not going to pay the company unless I get you. Has that ever happened?
It has.
Okay. So this is the teaching moment. I want Charles to talk about this before he goes back about his business. But there's a difference between an art and a business. There's a difference between busyness and a business. I want you to take note of this. There's a difference between busyness and a business, and there's a difference between a business and art, okay? So a business, spelled with an I, B-U-S-I-N-E-S-S, exists to serve you. A business exists to serve me. A business exists to serve you, the listener, right now. Business, B-U-S-I-N-E-S-S. Busyness, a.k.a. an art, exists because you don't know your why. It's like you are now a celebrity entertainer and you're never, ever going to have time freedom or financial freedom as long as you continue to brand yourself as that person. It was hard for me to break the cycle of being the one who personally DJ'd every show.
I agree.
And even now as a coach, my wife has set boundaries and she says, honey, you can work with like these 15 clients.
Yeah.
And I call it co-coaching is what I do, but there's certain clients. So like with Andrew, you work with Snow Bear Heat and Air. And it's a great opportunity for you to help him grow his business.
Yeah.
But we're doing it together.
Right.
So I might be in the meeting for 10 minutes or so, and then Andrew does his thing. But it's an opportunity for Andrew to learn that system. It's an ability for the client to have that benefit. But I'm only working with 15. I only work with you, Charles, like direct.
Oh, yeah.
But talk about that. How hard was it for you to stop being the one-on-one trainer and to start being the big box gym guy?
And one thing is you're good at it and you love being good at something.
Oh.
And so when you're shifting away from that and systemizing it and training it into the next skill set, it's hard to say, oh, I got to let him just do it, and I know I can run in there and do all this myself. And when you see clients that you actually like a lot of I love what I do and I love the clients. And for me, like my mind would completely be gone with what time it is in the day. So I could literally go like 10 hours straight and be like, dude, I haven't even eaten anything.
And that's called flow state, by the way. In modern psychology, the word is called flow state. And it's where you actually lose track of space and time because you love doing something so much. It's like when you're a kid, as a kid, you're playing basketball and you just lose track of space and time because you love it so much.
Oh, yeah.
It's the flow.
Uh-huh.
You're in a flow. Kendall, when you're doing that videography, Kendall, is it not a flow?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Especially when you're doing a project you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, same thing when you're doing something you're passionate about, like headshots and photos.
Yeah, it can be dangerous.
So it's a flow. And again, I'm just telling you, the flow state is the no state as it relates to time freedom. You want to go in the flow state, you're going to be in the no state because you're an artist now. So what advice would you have for this particular person who is a celebrity disc jockey in Los Angeles, where it's very, very hard to build a name for yourself? And she wants time freedom. The question is here, she says, do you think I can have this business without DJing every night? Because I don't want to DJ every night for the rest of my life, although I love DJing. What would you say to her? It's got to be hard.
Yes, absolutely. She just needs to take down and script what makes her experience, and then make that into like a checklist for that day or that total, whatever that is. There
you go.
Yeah. So that event. So what she does, like I show up at this time, I make sure I engage with all the customers. I make sure I acknowledge their presence, close the gap, physical touch, high five them, fist bump them, everything you do that makes you experience. And then that whole event schedule, as far as in like what you do for the intro songs, what she does for getting the crowd revved up, like all the different highlights that make her so phenomenal. You try to script that as much as you can into a document that shows here's what the Charles Kolak experience is going to be like. When I'd script it for my front desk staff, I'd tell them exactly when they open the door in 5 seconds or less, you smile with your eyes and your teeth, you close the gap, you provide some sort of physical touch, make it look genuine. I show them how I do it, make sure that they've done it and practiced it very, very several times until they've clearly got it. And then I have scripts for exactly what you need to say, because most people don't know how to say or engage with people. So every single thing can be written down and scripted, and then the whole workflow for the day, or for that event. She could script, this is how I do the music, this is how I set up the stuff, this is where you need to set this is the accoutrements that need to be around to make it look like a phenomenal experience. And so after every 5 senses is of the user experience, with the sights, sounds, smells, everything that they see is that branded you experience that made you phenomenal.
And after you nail it all down and you build the senses, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the checklist, let me explain this to you, please, Mrs. Listener, and for all the people out there. It won't be as good as you. And you're going to lose some deals.
Yep.
And you're going to have people that want you. So I remember the first time I did this, and if you're out there listening right now and you can relate to this story because it involves you, Mike Harris. Think about this. If your name's Mike Harris and you work at Bama Pie, this one's for you. Mike Harris calls, Clay Clark, my man, Bama Pie, we got a big event coming up. I've been DJing there for like 10 years, guys, all their big events. Huge events. The Malcolm Baldridge Award, when they filled up the TU, the Reynolds Center, the governor's there, 10,000 people. I'm their speaker.
Oh, wow.
I'm their DJ. I'm their speaker. I'm their entertainer every year. Quick Trip, Warren Caterpillar.
Boom.
Southwest Airlines, UPS.
Cha-ching.
Six Flags, Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders.
That's insane.
Prom on the Minneapolis on the Mississippi River every year.
Wow.
And they call, Clay, we want to go ahead and rebook you for the Capel High School overnight graduation, like my 5th year in a row. And I said, Emery, I can't do it anymore. She said, why? I said, because I've missed every single wedding, birthday, and holiday with my wife for the first 10 years of our marriage. And she goes, but Clay, you do it every year. Please, just for us. I said, no. She says, well, we could try DJ Steve. And she called me afterwards and said, he was so good, but he wasn't you. Yeah. We're going to use somebody else next year. And then Mike Harris says, come on, man. That's Mike Harris. Come on, man. You know this. I built you, baby. Come on. I was your guy. Come on, man. You can't. And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, like, I'm on the precipice of divorce. I mean, it's serious at the Clark house. My wife is pissed. I've missed come on, man. Valentine's, bam. I'm like, I've never taken my wife out for Valentine's Day, ever. I've never been to New Year's Eve, ever.
Not the
I've
move.
never, ever had the day before or after Thanksgiving with my wife. I have never, ever, ever been home on a weekend where I haven't DJed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mike, I did over 200 events last year. Mike, he's like, come on, baby. So Mike took his business somewhere else eventually because we couldn't do what he wanted. I get it. I wasn't mad at Mike. And this happened only like 400 times, 500 times. But what happened is that once you set the expectations, this is an important action step. You set the expectations with a new customer that this is how it's going to be. So to our DJ friend, the first part of your question, I'm going to read it to you, Charles. She says, I want to ask you something. I'm opening my website, an LLC, so thinking about my name for the DJ agency. I found that DJ Connection is taken. When we spoke on the phone, you said you don't recommend it, but I want to open an agency that would book female artists to events. Female DJs with singers and musicians, the MC type, all female. But the name I'm thinking of is it's a I don't want to mention the name on the air. I know you said it's limiting, but it's also special and would be easy to promote. Thoughts about the name before I submit it? Well, the name of the business, you choose whatever you want on that name, and I want Charles to talk about that, but I also want Charles to talk about this. If you live in L.A. and you think it would be very easy to book all female DJs and MCs to do parties, then do it. I don't live in L.A., so I can't say to you I have the market data that would say yes, this will work. If you can feel the niche, scratch it. If you can feel the niche, scratch it. If you know there's a need, fill it. I don't know there's a need because I'm not in L.A. I can tell you a funny story. The Maytag University years ago, I'm on a tour bus, not a tour bus, it was like a bus. I guess it was a tour bus. They take a shuttle bus, a party bus. After I spoke, they're taking all the owners to it's a church that they've turned into a blues bar. Seriously, it's called House of Blues, L.A., and it used to be a church. See if you can find it, Andrew. So that alone has a lot of the people attending upset because the House of God has now been replaced with like makeout rooms. I mean, it's crazy. And so this sweet lady gets on the mic, and this is what she says. Andrew, pass me the megaphone because I wanted to do, because remember you're on the shuttle bus. And on a shuttle bus, you guys need to have a tour guide, and the tour guide gets on the bus and makes announcements. You guys can picture this. And this is what they said. True story. She gets on the mic. I cannot make this up.
Ladies and gentlemen, Maytag family.
Everybody on the bus is 45, married with kids, because it's business owners.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew, did you find it, by the way? Did you find it?
Yep.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen,
what's the address so people can look it up? What's the address of that thing?
Oh, I'm going back. I'm looking at the photo. It's
dirty.
8430 Sunset Boulevard, West Hollywood, California.
They turned a church into a super. It's like an evil, seedy kind of bar. But this is what she says.
Andrew,
folks, I just want everybody to know we have a great artist performing tonight for everybody. We brought him in very, very popular with a lot of folks. He's a member of the Wu-Tang Clan, and his name is RZA. RZA will be here tonight. RZA, and
everyone is going, what? And so he gets up there to perform, and I'm not kidding. The beat starts, and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the mother House of Blues. How y'all doing?" And there's just white people everywhere, none of which have ever been to a rap concert, and they're all like 45, 50-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh no, what's happening? Put your hands in there. And people are not doing it. Put your hands in there. Put your mother. And people are like, and then the club people start showing up because we got there early because it's VIP. And the club people show up. Everyone's high as a kite, weed in the air. And it's, put your hands in there. And then it's like they're doing like Wu-Tang like tribute songs like METHOD, man. And no one knows the lyrics but the young people.
Yeah, like they just kind of stand around.
And our whole crowd is like, I got to get out of here. And so all I'm saying is, for some reason, you can turn a church into a club in L.A. and then sell the Wu-Tang Clan to the Maytag University attendees, and that works. And people paid, and then after about like 7 beverages, these 45-year-olds start going out on the dance floor.
Uh-oh.
And they're like, shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yeah. And they're all getting out there and like, he's really a fun person. And it was like Snoop Dogg from Old School where he's on the stage with Will Ferrell.
Oh,
and he's
boy.
doing these performing. It was that kind of a vibe. So, Charles, when did you realize that there was a need and or a niche for the big box gym that it's like big box gym meets Chick-fil-A? When did you see the niche where the culture of Chick-fil-A could meet the facility of a Planet Fitness and become a unique thing that, by the way, is dominating in the markets you're in? I mean, you're in Topeka, Kansas, Joplin, you're in Bartlesville. Somebody should look that up. KolofFitness.com, KolofFitness.com. And by the way, if you do go to KolofFitness.com, it makes his website rank higher, so do it. What better way to say thank you to a guest here? He came in to find a folder, and now we've kept him on as a guest.
Yeah.
But talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
When did you realize there was a niche there?
Well, I've always known that a lot of people don't exercise on a regular basis. About 80% of Americans don't have a gym membership and don't actually even exercise. at all. And so being a fitness trainer, I know that a lot of people aren't comfortable walking into a gym. And I saw that Planet Fitness had a really good model with what they were doing. Of course, it was, like on the TVs and stuff, they've got like girls in thongs freaking the, screen. And
Freak-a-leak.
Yeah, it's
Might
just
have been footage from House of Blues.
To me, I thought it was great because it focuses on beginner fitness people that want to exercise. But as a Christian, it was very polarizing to me. Like, it's very intimidating to say, like, I don't really want to be doing curls and
looking at girls.
And see crotches in the screen and just really kind of polarized. So I thought we had a really strong Christian culture gym with a little bit more conservative type approach. And I thought, wow, that would be great if we could do a similar type of thing to give a great low-cost value and with a strong Christian culture where we really focus on making Jesus famous and changing lives and help people lose weight. We had a great fitness program, a lot of people losing lots of weight. So I've tried to couple the great fitness training concepts with a low-price business model and then wrap Christ in all the essence of it. And I've seen companies like Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby really focus on really good core values, really on corporately owned, not franchised, where like a bunch of guys can sometimes screw up your model if you sell them to the wrong people. And so I thought, well, what if we just kept it small until we can really nail it, keep a really good Christian culture, kind of grow that till we got really good systems. And Clay with his business coaches have helped us a ton. Really make sure we've got great systems, great checklists, great culture components to grow a company. And now we're entering other states. We've got 2 more locations opening this next year. And I mean, we've got up to 50 on a.
And you still work out,
yeah,
but you're not a slave to the art anymore.
No, I'm not, and I don't. And I actually, it's been great because everything I've learned from Clay is like you can get the stuff out of your head and on a document, and then train it into the lowest skill set necessary. Not a bad skill set, but a lower skill set that then gives you some time freedom back. And you slowly refine the systems, and over time they become very, very good. Now, maybe it's not you, but it's really mind-freeing to see that all laid out in every department, in every position, and then orchestrated, and then have quantitative scorecards for everybody, and you can really grow a company. But his mind was completely different than mine because I was a knucklehead, had to do everything from the top of my mind, which I always would forget something. But when I got it out, systemized it out, you can get some of that back. So
let's think about this. Here's the fork in the road for our listener right now. Do you want to build a time freedom creating business? Or do you want to create a time sucking and soul sucking perpetual busyness? Now, this is where it gets dangerous, and then we'll leave you here. After I retired from DJing, Dr. Zellner said, I really would like you to DJ for my daughter. And I said, no. And he said, I really need you to. Have you forgot about how much I've helped you? And I said, okay. Then I talked to my wife, and my wife said, no. Uh-oh. And then I said, did you forget about the greatness and the helpfulness of Dr. Zellner? And she says, okay. So I'm DJing there at the wedding, and I'm loving it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting it back. I'm in my flow state. I'm in my flow state. And this, one of the guys who used to DJ for me, took all the systems I taught him and everything, and he used to siphon my phone calls. So when the phone would ring, he'd go, boop, 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 DJ connection, thank you for calling, yada, yada. How can I help you? And you'd say, I'm looking for June 6th. And he'd go, oh, we're all booked out, but I know of a great service. And then he would give the brides his cell phone number. And that's how he would make his money, was stealing leads off my phone all the time.
I've had trainers do stuff.
Because it was untrackable. Now, when the leads would come in via email, he wouldn't do it. But if they came in on the phone, he would do it like every time. So I'm there, and I'm DJing, and he's carving meat because he went out of business. And so I'm loving this. And now it's personal.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, folks, let's do this. The bride and the groom are going to come in here in a few minutes, about 10 minutes for the grand intro. We've got beautiful decor, and the bride has asked me to take this party to the next level. Dr. Zellner has asked me to go from a level 8. A lot of weddings are a 7 or a 6. They're like a bunt or a single. Z says, I want to take this thing to ecstasy. I want to go to the next level. How many people are prepared to take this wedding to a level 10? Come on, folks, by a round of applause. Woo! And people are getting into it. Okay. Now, how many meat carvers are here tonight who have it's like you want to take this to a level 10 as well? And this guy's like, he hates me because he screwed me.
Oh, yeah.
He knows he screwed me. He hasn't seen me since he screwed me. And he's like, but everyone's looking at him like, why aren't you clapping, meat carver? And I'm like, folks, let's hear it for the meat carver. I'll tell you what, folks, we're not a meat starver. Let's tip him. Yeah. Because, as a meat carver, I don't know if you make as much as a DJ or the owner of a DJ company, but I'm sure there's. And I kept doing it all night. So I'd be like, folks, we're going to do the father of the bride dance. Everyone, woo! Mother of the groom dance, woo! And in just a moment, we're going to do the meat carver dances with the janitor dance. Oh, no, the janitor's not here. My bad. And I just kept, folks, we're going to be doing a dollar dance for the meat carver. We're going to be doing.
Oh, my goodness.
We had a conga line.
I wish I was there.
Hey, like, let's do a conga line, folks, over there by the meat carver. Get him involved. And he's looking at me. Oh, and he's pissed. And I'm like, and no one really understands what's going on because after a few adult beverages, most people can't remember certain things about parties. But I came up with acronyms like MEAT. I can't remember. It's like MEAT stands for, it's like maniacal, like earning, and like it's like something about maniacal earning. Yeah, and I'm like, MEAT stands for, and I'm just ripping him all night while I'm having fun. People are having fun. I'm having a lot of fun at his expense. And then a guy comes up to me afterwards and says, "Dude, that was so fun." And that meat carver, because the meat carver's kind of a mean guy. Yeah. Anyway, so he's kind of a meaner looking guy. Yeah. And you're like, "Man, dude, you were letting that meat carver have it. He was kind of a jerk, but man, that was kind of, they were really messing with him." Because everyone, when you've been to a restaurant or a bar where there's been a sarcastic waiter, people like to get their vengeance. Yeah. So people loved it, and people were like, "Can I get a card?" I didn't give out my card because I didn't have a card.
Yeah.
And I started getting calls all next week on my number 918-519-4846 back in the day. So I had to switch phones. So I had to go to the phone store, transfer contacts, switch phones. So and that happened. And then Joe Lai, who's currently a client orthodontist, his father-in-law heard that I DJ'd.
Oh.
And he's like, "Clay,
you're back."
Yeah, you're back. I'm like, no.
You're back.
And I think he paid me 4 times what our company charged to DJ at the Mayo Hotel.
I had a guy do that. He came in with
4 times.
a big stack of hundreds. He's like, "I want you." I was like, "I'm done. I don't do it anymore." He put more, about $3,200 down, and I'm like, "Dude, no, I'm telling you, I don't want your money. I'm just telling you."
They shut the Mayo down. Like once you try to shut someone down, and they keep paying you, it gets weird, doesn't it? Yeah. Because you kind of want it, and you're getting paid to do your flow state.
Yeah, and you're thinking, "Dude, I could totally do this. Dude, I'd have fun."
So I'm at the Mayo Hotel. It's my last show I ever did. I'm at the Mayo Hotel. Dr. Joe is crowd surfing, an orthodontist. His people are verified. You can call him, talk to him. Dr. Joe, klortho.com. You can call him, talk to the dentist, orthodontist, klortho.com. He's never crowd surfed in his life. People have left the 2 wedding receptions and have made their way upstairs. So at his birthday, his 40th birthday party, we have 2 brides in their dresses, 2 wedding parties, 2 grooms, and like 500 people on the rooftop that's built for like 150 people. And it's like you can only DJ till midnight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the father-in-law of Joe, he comes up to me, the guy who hired me, who's been a mentor, great guy, Bill Shofty. He's like, $100 for one more song.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm doing another song. Vanessa's, she's texting me. And I'm like, "Hey, Vanessa, I'll be there." It's like when you had to text with, you had to hit the.
You're scared to say something.
Well, you had to hit the number 1 4 times to type a letter. Because it was before the touch screens we have, the singular phones. So I'm texting back, and then it's like, "Hey, man, seriously, if you do one more song, $100. So I'm getting $100 per song. People have like a hat, and they're passing around money going, "Go DJ, go." And I'm like, "Dudes, I seriously," and I'm just going. I came home, and you'd have to ask Vanessa. I think it's probably like 3 in the morning. And let me tell you who didn't have sex that night with all my money.
Oh, yeah.
I'm serious.
Here's your couch right over here.
No, it was bad. It was bad. And the cool thing about it, what made it really bad, is I was fired up. So I come bounding the door. "Baby, I'm back."
Yep.
Bam.
Yep.
Back to my busyness.
I would do the call centers, and I'd go meet with clients and sell. And then I'd come back, and it'd be like Amber's calling my phone, and I haven't answered it in hours. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, "Dude, I sold like $10,000 in just today."
You're feeling
in
it.
PT.
Oh, I love this.
And it's like 11:30 at night. And I'm like looking at it, and it's like it's been 16 missed calls. I'm like, I don't even know if I can go home.
Yeah, because in the absence of value, price is the only consideration. But when you are surrounded by enormous value, Miss DJ, people don't care what you quote at a certain point.
Yeah.
You got to understand, I had people at a certain point. This just happened this week. A guy called me to do a speaking event, and a nice guy. Told him I don't do that, but I have a book coming out soon, so I probably will start in next summer. He goes, $10,000 deposit, please. So I asked Vanessa, and she goes, "I'm keeping it." But I'm serious. That happened this week.
Oh, wow.
It
Awesome.
happened because it's like we got a book coming out, so you might as well start doing
Oh, yeah.
for the mastermind manuscripts. You kind of book some events.
That's awesome.
But like, I'm just when you're good, people don't worry about a $250 fee, or they
No.
don't worry about $50 per personal training session. What's
No.
the most money you got offered per personal training session
Well-
by a guy who could not accept you saying no?
Well, I would sell packages at $100 an hour, and people would buy like a whole year up front.
So that's like,
It's like
$300 a week for 4 weeks a
It's
month.
like
so
$7 grand or something like that.
all day.
And I said no, and I only took 3 like that, and then I felt guilty. Like I felt like that's way too much. I mean, but I made a price sheet for that, and then I thought I'm not even going to show people that anymore.
And even now, as a couple,
because they can get results a lot cheaper than
Right.
that. I was just trying to price myself out.
even as a couple now, my wife and I have agreed we're only going to have 160 clients. And your direct competitor and Josh with Living Water Irrigation, his direct competitor, they have that your guy stopped, but his guy keeps asking.
Okay.
And they are literally saying, we'll pay 2 times what Josh pays if you'll coach us. And I'm like, no, man, it's one person per industry. And they're like, well, do you have a contract? Well, in Josh's case, I do. With you, I have a handshake. But I'm like, no, and it bothers them. They're like, well, why not? Well, there's a certain loyalty. My wife and I have decided we only want to invest in 160 entrepreneurs. I want to know every single member of my team. I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but that's my thing. If you're out there and you are struggling with understanding this idea, whether you're our listener or somebody else, you got to pick one, an art or a business or busyness. And if you want to see a good example of a Lamborghini driving entrepreneur who is able to shift from busyness and the art to a business that serves he and his family, go to my Twitter and you'll see Charles Kolaw and Steve Currington celebrating their Lambro-ness. And or go to kolawfitness.com, go up there and see the highest rated fitness company in each region they serve. These guys are unbelievably successful. They're doing well. And I think you're happy with the time freedom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's good.
It's good. Well, I think we're going to wrap up today's show with a boom. Here we go.
Yeah, baby.
3, 2, 1.
Boom.
Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs to know the proven path, including the Atlantic recording artist, Colton Dixon.
Colton, you've been working with Clay and kind of getting coaching from him for a while now and getting that needed feedback as you try to create some new music. I wanted to ask you, how has it been kind of working with Clay and getting that honest feedback? How has that helped you further your career where you're at and move into these new areas?
Oh, he's going to boo me.
Oh, man, I could have taken that to a funny place.
Please do.
Honestly, I think regardless of who's in your corner, to have someone in your corner who's going to be honest is the most important thing for anyone, regardless of what field you're going into. I think we need to hear what we need to hear rather than we want to hear.
Oh, nice.
And that's just super important. So for that alone, I've been super thankful. But yeah, I think Clay's just really good at pinpointing strengths that I have and helping me overcome some of the weaknesses, whether it's, work ethic, being in the studio enough hours in the week, or putting practices into place, even amongst my guys out on the road, or it's been really good to have someone who's so organized and has so many great practices helping me establish that for my own business, which is really what this is. Which can get weird when you tie ministry and business together, but that's a topic for another time. But it's just been really good to have someone who I would say believes in what I'm doing and applies all of the experience that he has into my goals. It's been really, really good.
If you have yet to check out Colton Dixon's new hit single that's been released on Atlantic Records, check it out today. The song is called Miracles, and I'm just going to play a little sneak peek of the song. Obviously, you get to hear Colton's voice on the intro to each and every Thrive Time Show podcast. The Started from the Bottom, Now We're Here. That's Colton Dixon singing. But let me play just a little sneak peek for you so you can hear just a sample of Colton Dixon's new hit single, Miracles, which you can now find on Spotify, on iTunes, on Hit Radio, anywhere where you hear hit music. Just do a search for Colton Dixon and the song Miracles to hear this and the rest of the song.
Doesn't matter just how many times I tried. There could only be a single reason. tell me